Hello and welcome back to Democracy, everybody. Welcome back to Helldivers, where we have a new patch and a bunch of things changed, and it kind of made one of my lists going over the weapons a little bit not accurate. They did also fix a decent amount of stuff with the performance of the game. It's still not perfect, it's still kind of buggy, which I don't really like. I just kind of want Helldivers to be like completely fixed, be usable, be playable for everybody, and not really causing issues, because there's still like some audio bugs in this, especially on the plains planets. Those ones in particular make it so you have like audio issues, so avoid those planets. If you start having weird issues like that, maybe hop off of them and try a different planet. Relaunching the game also seems to reset the audio bugs too. There's a couple of weird things going on right now, but the game does seem to be in a better state than it was just a couple weeks ago, which is really good because it was getting kind of broken when I was playing. Either way, we have a big old balancing patch here that did change quite a lot. There was actually even more stuff that they didn't say that they changed in this. I'm not sure of absolutely everything that they changed in this, because like they didn't really say that we were getting a fire nerf, but that was a thing, and they also didn't say the senator was getting buffed, but that's also a thing. So those two I'm aware of. I didn't check through absolutely every weapon though to see if it had gotten any sort of minor changes. Plus I usually forget the numbers on the weapons anyway. Either way, one of the big changes that they made was actually making it so the resupply rack is no longer climbable. That's really good, because that was pretty annoying when you would try to grab a resupply, especially if you were almost dead. If you grab it, then you can heal. You'd climb on top of it, you'd have to fall off it, you try to go back, you climb on it again, you get shot, you get killed. You could have avoided that if you were just able to grab it. This is a really big bonus to it. It's very nice. We also have a bunch of primary and secondary weapon changes. So for primary weapon changes, first up we have the Plasma Punisher. This one was changed to where now it's completely explosive damage. It used to do 250 damage overall, but this was a split, so where it had projectile damage doing 100 and then 150 explosion damage. Plasma Punisher does feel a whole lot better thanks to this. It feels more like a dedicated grenade launcher than anything else, but as a primary weapon, it's pretty nice. I tried it particularly against the Illuminate, and it works really well against like the new nerfed Overseers that are flying around. You can kill them with 2 body shots, which is really nice, even on the highest difficulty. Works pretty well against flesh mobs and works really well against the voteless crowds. I tried it a little bit against bots. I don't think I've tried it yet against bugs, but overall a good buff to the Plasma Punisher. Definitely one of the more awkward weapons that not everybody uses. Next up is the Slugger, which they buffed pretty significantly. They gave it 50 more damage. I was thinking it was 60, but it's 50 more damage. This one used to do 280, now it does 330 per shot, and they also gave it more durability damage. So it used to do 75, now it's 90. Both of those feel really good for it. The Slugger could already one-shot headshots, like some of the armored bugs can one-shot the medium bots if you hit them in the head too. Now you can 3-tap them with body taps, which is pretty nice, especially if you can't see their head, and you're just hitting them absolutely anywhere. That does feel really nice. Hurt some of the bigger enemies pretty well too, and now it has more of a distinct role than like the Dominator, since it and the Dominator had basically the same amount of damage. It's just this one was pump action, a little bit slower, had less recoil though, but then the Dominator was like semi-auto and it had a full magazine reload, so in certain ways that one was a little bit better than like the Slugger. Now I think they're a whole lot more like even to one another, because the Slugger buff, it does feel really good, particularly on bots. On squids it's still fine. It still pretty much does everything that it did before, but kills like flesh mobs a little bit quicker, or Overseers a little bit quicker if you're hitting them in the body. Then we have pretty much the whole Liberator family getting buffed. Regular Liberator got 10 more points of damage and slightly more durability damage. Same thing goes with Liberator Carbine. Both those are the same. They didn't really feel any different when I was using them. They still felt good. Like the Liberator Carbine feels almost no different than what it was, but hey, slightly more damage towards enemies makes it so you can kill some of the big things a little bit quicker. Liberator Penetrator got buffed by 5 more points of damage. That's perfectly fine. I still think that one maybe should get a little bit more, since the other medium pen rifles are pretty good, like the Halo Assault Rifle and the Adjudicator. But whatever, at least it got a buff. Liberator Concussive also got buffed by 10 more points of damage and does a little bit more durability damage. Kind of cool, but I'm still not really using that one, so that was kind of whatever. Tenderizer also got a slight buff with just higher durability damage. Awesome. Pacifier got buffed slightly by giving it better stuns and giving it 5 more points of damage. This one does feel a bit better. The stun on the Pacifier was kind of the selling point of it, and giving it slightly more damage is kind of nice. And then submachine guns were changed quite a bit, to where submachine guns now got more damage as well as more durability damage, but now all of them have more dramatic damage drop-off. So if you're firing at a distance, the submachine guns are going to be worse. They wanted to make them more like a close-range weapon. Honestly, I didn't really notice this all that much, probably because most of the time you're not really using the submachine guns at long range. This seems to be out to 50 meters and further as to where the damage drop-off starts to happen, which you're not usually using the submachine guns at that range anyway. So I didn't actually find the damage nerf to be all that bad. The Defender got 20 more points of damage, which is quite good. Having 100 points of damage on that thing's pretty nice. Knight also got 20 more points of damage for some odd reason. I'm surprised they buffed that one, since the Knight already felt good. I've been using that one the most, and it feels really nice. Reprimand got buffed by another 10 points of damage. I think the Reprimand is probably going to be the most affected by this, since it's the most like an assault rifle. When I was trying to use it, I still didn't really notice it too much. Usually I'm not using it out to long range, but if you are kind of used to using it at somewhat medium range like you do an assault rifle, you might start to notice the damage drop off. Pummeler was also buffed. Sickle was buffed slightly. It got 5 more points of damage. Cool. Sickle could always use some more damage. Why not? I like the Sickle a lot. Halo Assault Rifle got 10 more points of damage, but that was the only thing that was changed about it. The Halo Submachine Gun got 10 more points of damage, and the Bison, the Killzone Submachine Gun, got 20 more points of damage. Mostly, I found that the submachine guns just sort of felt a little bit stronger at the ranges that I usually use them anyway. So that's kind of a good thing. Most of the assault rifles feel basically the same, but feel a little bit nicer towards bigger enemies. Good bonus there. And then the last of the primary weapons that got changed was the Plas Accelerator Rifle. This is the Killzone Rifle. This one now has much better ergonomics. That is noticeable. I do like that. And it also went from having 8 spare mags to 12 spare mags, and if you take it with Siege Ready armor, it went from having 10 spare mags up to 15 spare mags. That's actually kind of good. It's still very awkward to be using on like bug missions. I don't like it there. Pretty decent on Illuminate missions now, honestly. Taking out Overseers at a distance and dealing good damage to flesh mobs is nice. Not really great against voteless crowds, but if you bring a secondary or like gas grenades, that's not such a big deal. And then against the bots, it just feels a little bit better. The ammo economy is actually pretty decent for it now. It's still going to be kind of an awkward weapon. Still not going to be a go-to weapon. If I want a marksman's rifle, I'm probably going to go with like the Diligence Counter Sniper or the Lever Action or something like that. I do find those weapons to be a little bit more consistent than the Accelerator Rifle, and none of them actually got changed, but honestly I don't think that they really need much of a change. Secondary weapons were also changed, mostly with melee weapons, where the Saber got a little bit stronger, which is nice. Saber was already pretty good. Combat Hatchet got significantly stronger, giving it 50 more points of damage, and giving it 25 more durability damage. Although they did reduce its attack speed a little bit, the Combat Hatchet feels pretty good against medium enemies. If you want to hack apart like Illuminate Overseers, it's pretty good then, so like take it with a shield and just start hacking. That's pretty nice. Machete also got buffed, so now does 200 damage a swing with 100 durability damage on it rather than 80. That's pretty significant too. That one was already really strong. Like, it was surprising that you could just cut berserkers in half with it. The Verdict feels a bit better here, so that's pretty nice. And the submachine gun, I didn't try the other pistols, but I imagine they're feeling a little bit better too. Like I said, the Senator also got buffed. They gave it 25 more points of damage for some reason. I don't know why, but it's cool. It got him buffed. And they also changed the Warrant a little bit, basically just making it nicer to move around, so that's good. The Warrant was always a little bit clunky, but it was a cool pistol anyway. It's actually pretty strong at certain things. Throwables were also changed, some of them being pretty noticeable. Dynamite now does 1,000 damage rather than 700. They switched it over to Heavy Armor Pen. You can also just throw this to like the side of bot factories and it will blow them up now, which is pretty awesome. Demo Strength was also increased thanks to this, although you can only carry around 3 sticks of dynamite now rather than the 4. Overall, I would say a pretty good bonus to the Dynamite. It does have more of a niche now. It is a bit better of a throwable now. It's still probably not like top tier throwables. The gas grenade and the thermites are still pretty much up there. But this one is pretty decent. I did try it out. You can kill like Hulks with this if you throw it directly underneath them. It's not going to kill them right away, but it will blow up their backpack and then they'll slowly like bleed out. It's kind of the same thing with like Chargers too, where you can get them to bleed out thanks to this. So it's kind of just like a more powerful high explosive grenade that you start out with. That's kind of how I would describe it. Pretty decent. The Pineapple Grenade also got buffed pretty significantly. It is still kind of random, so I don't think it's one of the best grenades, but it does make it so there's more shrapnel overall, and the shrapnel can actually throw out a little bit further than what it could. That is pretty noticeable. This is a whole lot better for the crowd control. It also now displays that it has medium armor pen. Apparently it always had medium armor pen, but before it said it was light. They're still kind of awkward though. You only get the 3 of them. And for like crowd control, gas grenades are still going to be better than this. I find the incendiary grenades a little bit better than this, but the pineapple at least isn't like one of the worst grenades now. The secret grenade also got buffed up a little bit to where now it'll prioritize higher value targets, and they gave it 100 more damage. Awesome. Frags and smokes also got buffed by giving you 1 extra grenade, so now you can carry around 6 frags, or I guess 8 frags if you're running like engineering kit. Knives were also buffed, giving them 50 more damage and having even more durability damage. They do feel a little bit better. Knives are always going to be awkward though until they like maybe fix their pathing, because you'll throw them directly at something and they'll go spinning off. So kind of a more fun thing to be throwing around than anything. Up next we got the stratagems, and the stratagems got changed pretty significantly. So first up was the epoch. Epoch was not a weapon that I liked at all when it first came out because it was like inaccurate. It just felt awkward. You could blow yourself up with it really easily. You can still kind of do all those things. It's no longer has the accuracy bug though, and it's not as awkward as it used to be. So they've extended the duration of it killing you, which is good. You can charge it up a whole lot easier and fire it at full power. That's a very nice thing. They also increased its damage by 100 damage, so it goes to 500 now. That's nice. And they gave it more demo strength. It does feel a whole lot better now. It is actually pretty good at taking down things. You can take down like harvesters with this. You can blow up the Illuminate ships. When the Epoch first came out, I kind of joked that it was basically a worse Quasar. And in some ways it still kind of is. Quasar is a little bit more consistent and a lot safer to be using than the Epoch. But the Epoch you do get multiple shots with. And it does kind of have more crowd control thanks to the blast. It does have a slower moving projectile though, so you do have to account for that. Stalwart got a minor buff, giving it 10 more points of damage and also giving it more durability. That feels pretty good. Stalwart already felt really good, especially for the crowd control. Giving it more damage is nice. It can hose down smaller enemies faster. Flamethrower was kind of buffed and nerfed because they did make it so it has more ammo in the canister, and it also has more maximum canisters overall. Good buff there, but then fire also was nerfed in this patch. It was kind of a hidden nerf to where now it does less damage over time. The tick damage is a little bit worse. I'm not sure if this was directly to like nerf the Coyote, because the Coyote was the best assault rifle in the game. Still, I think it is the best assault rifle in the game. But it does kind of nerf the other fire options, which I don't really think they needed, because I don't think the flamethrower or the torture or the crisper were super overpowered or anything. Anti-material rifle did get buffed pretty significantly. It now has 2 bonus mags, so it goes from 6 to 8. That's pretty important, and it also does more durability damage. This feels really good on the anti-material rifle overall. I really like the anti-material rifle. When we were kind of testing it out against bugs, we were able to kill titans with it actually kind of consistently. If you shoot a titan in the head about 7 or 8 times, it should kill it with the anti-material rifle, which is kind of cool. I do like that. It's not going to kill it as fast as other weapons like EATs and recoilless and stuff are still going to be better for that job, but it is better against bigger targets, and it does smack around certain targets a little bit more. Cool buff for the anti-material rifle. Autocannon also got a pretty significant buff, going from 260 damage to 325. It feels really good now, especially on bugs. You switch it over to the flak mode and you just blow apart hordes. It feels really nice there. I don't know if the autocannon really needed a buff like this, but it's cool that it got one. De-escalator also got a kind of similar buff where they almost doubled its damage. That's kind of nice. They also increased the durability damage whenever you shoot with it. This does feel pretty good. It's not as strong as it was when it first came out, when it was bugged and like everybody would carry them, and then it was just like the stuns were kind of bugged and the damage was also bugged on it. It's still strong. It's still a nice grenade launcher. Solo Silo got buffed pretty significantly, where they basically doubled its health, and they also made it so enemies will not attack it. That makes a solo silo really, really good, because that was the main problem with it. You could set it up, you could have a really powerful one-shot weapon that could one-shot almost anything. The only thing it couldn't kill was like the Hive Lord, but everything else it could, so that was a bonus. And now, since enemies can't target it, it's way safer to be taking. I think it's a much better weapon. It's really nice to take on like blitz missions too, where you can just launch it right at whatever you're trying to hit, especially on like bot missions, try to blow up the factories. The rail cannon also got buffed to where it's no longer a 210 second, it's a 180 second cooldown. That's nice. Before, it felt kind of weird to take that, when you could take like the precision strike and use that like 3 times before you could use your rail cannon strike again. And it does make it stronger against like the dragons, since that can one-shot them pretty consistently and it would at least follow them. And then the Patriot, the one with the missile launcher and the minigun, got a little bit of a buff too, to where it has more ammo overall. Feels kind of nicer. I still would prefer the autocannon Patriot over that one, but there is that. And then finally we had some changes to the enemies, where the flesh mob did kind of get nerfed, buffed, sort of. It has less health overall, but it has more armor, kind of, or the health zones are more durable. So with certain weapons you can still kill it really fast, like the Purifier or the Eruptor with the crossbow can kill them really, really quick. But overall, it did kind of make it so lighter armor pen weapons can kill them also a little bit faster. It's kind of nice. The flesh mobs could be kind of annoying just because of how much damage they could soak up. Elevated Overseers, the ones that actually fly around, were nerfed pretty significantly to where you can just kill them a lot faster. Like I said at the start of this, with the Plasma Punisher, you can do it with like 2 body shots, and they do just feel faster to kill with just about every weapon. And the Leviathan was changed completely to where no longer it has the same guns that it did before. Now it has lasers similar to the Harvester or similar to those turrets that have the eyes that laser you. Doesn't do as much damage as like a Harvester beam, but they can put like 4 of these on you and actually melt you pretty fast. Feels a whole lot more fair to be fighting the Leviathan though, because usually you have a whole lot more time to actually get behind something. It was really annoying when the Leviathan could just one-shot headshot you from half the map away and you never even seen it coming. Terminids were also slightly changed. Not very much though, they still feel pretty much the same. It was mostly like some of them are a little bit harder to set on fire, and they made it so the dragons are spawning less than what they used to. Kind of the same thing with the automatons. Some of them kind of got changes, but nothing way crazy besides the War Strider. The War Strider no longer spams out as many grenades, which is good. I think that was also causing some issues with the game, besides potentially like the Game Guard that's also causing issues. Hopefully that gets fixed. And they also added weak spots to it. So now it has 3 weak spots. Any of the eyes where you can see it on the head, on the chest, and then the vent on the back. Those are the 3 weak spots. If you hit those, you can actually kill it pretty fast. You can 2-shot it with a railgun, I believe now, which is kind of nice because before you could 3-shot him if you hit him in like the leg joint. But other than that, it was kind of awkward, and it took multiple shots from like the railgun or the anti-material rifle or the autocannon, to where it was like you might as well just shoot them with like the EATs or the recoilless or something, at least something that's going to one-shot them. So nice changes overall. And like I said, the game has been running smoother. There is still some issues. Hopefully we get another patch that's more just kind of going over the bugs, fixing a lot of that, because they did fix quite a few bugs here. There still is some weird ones that are going on, like the laugh emote sometimes cuts out in missions now to where you can laugh like once or twice, and then you'll just stop. If you try laughing at the space station, it still is mute for some reason. And there's still some other like weird ones like that, which I don't know why those things broke. Either way, this is kind of a nice step for Helldivers though. It'd be cool to get some more patches like this that generally fix the game overall. Apparently there's also a leak going on about like a new war bond that's coming up, but nothing's really set about that. I'll wait till it actually comes out and then we'll go over that too. Tell me your thoughts on Helldivers 2 with this new patch though. How have you been liking it? How have you experienced it? Are you coming back to Helldivers, or are you still kind of putting it off for a little bit, waiting for some more things to, well, get fixed and hopefully less issues with Helldivers overall? I would like to hear that. Thank you guys so very much for watching this. You guys take care, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.